Good afternoon. I've got a few more people signing into the workshop, so I'm going to give it one more minute and then we will get started. Well, good afternoon. I want to thank you for joining us for our GiveBacks workshop on the online store and the website builder. My name is Carol. I'm a member of the customer support team here at GiveBacks, and I'll be taking you through this workshop today. Before we dive into the workshop, just a couple of things. Um, This is being recorded, and later today you'll get an email with a link to the recording in case you want to watch it again. And I am happy to answer questions as we go through the workshop. Just put your questions in the questions box. I'll do my best to catch them all as we go along, but I'll also leave plenty of time at the end for any questions. And also just want to make sure that everybody realizes that Member Hub changed its name to Givebacks at the end of June. It's just a name change. The colors changed a little bit, but all the functionality that you knew when you were using it as Member Hub is still the same. Right, so our goal today is to show you how to set up and manage your online store, and then we'll shift gears and we'll talk about how to use the website builder. So we're going to talk about managing products, reviewing orders, reviewing payouts, store settings and notification. We'll talk about Stripe accounts, and we'll also talk about using the GiveBacks point of sale app if you're using a Stripe credit card reader. And then we'll talk about the website. All right, so I am going to do most of this workshop through a live demo site. I think it makes it easier for you guys to see how to actually navigate through the site. And if we need to go back to answer some questions, that makes it a little bit easier. So I like to start by looking at an online store before we start trying to build one. So you know what it looks like. So I'm going to open up my demo store. I'm going to go back just a second. Um, when you log in, you land on the dashboard and the toolbar is here on the left. At the bottom are some quick links, and all I did was click on the View Store link. The store will open in a new tab, and this is a sample of what a store could look like. Everything you sell in your store is going to have this format where you have an image of the product that you choose and upload when you're setting up your product or your membership. The name of your product, you can put in a short one-line description and then it'll show the price. And you, as a customer, would just click on the item that you want to purchase. Within this page, there is a place where you can put a lot more details about your product, and it's easy to add fields for sizes and colors, and then you can add custom fields. And that's what my last two fields here, the student name and the student's homeroom teacher are. Those are custom fields, and we'll talk about how you can add those custom fields. If you use categories, the categories that you use will show up on the side. It just helps your customer narrow down their selection. Now, you can sell anything in your store that you want. I usually see memberships, tickets to events, spirit wear items, um, you can collect donations, really anything where you need to collect a payment as an organization, you can set that up as a product in the store so people can pay you that way. So let's talk about how we actually set up the online store. Most of what we're going to do, we're going to spend in the store management section. So if you open up that section, you can see there are a lot of links here that you can choose from. Let's start by using the Manage Product link. And this will take you to a list of the products that you already have in your store. If you haven't set anything up yet, it'll be blank. But let's talk about what you're seeing here on this page. Obviously, the first column is the name of your product, and that's the name that you chose to give your product. Categories, you can set up categories. Over here under store management, manage categories, you can set up categories there, anything you want. So these were the categories that I chose to create. The next column says MH Store. That stands for Member Hub Store. Eventually that will say Give Back Store. But what this column is telling you is which products in your list are live in your store. The check mark means the product is live and available for purchase. If there's an X, then it means it's hidden and your customers cannot see it and therefore cannot purchase that item. To change the visibility, you click on the check mark or click on the X. I'll click on this open donation because I'll turn it on. So I'm going to click on the X, and then this box pops up, and I need to check the box that says Show Product in Store. And then I save it, and now there's a check mark next to my open donation product. The next column stands for Member Hub Pay. This is the app that you would use if you have a Stripe credit card reader and are going to be selling items in person. The app is now called the GiveBacks Point of Sale app. If you're using that, you would download the app and you would pair your credit card reader, and you would be able to see all the products that you have in your store and would be able to sell them in person. Now, what's nice about having this separate column is you can decide which products you want visible in your app to sell in person, independent of what products are live in your store. You may be doing an event where you don't want to have, say, 20 products viewable in the app because maybe your event is very specific. So in the app, you can turn off certain products and just view the ones that you need to sell that night. Works the same way. You click this box. It's actually, click the check mark or the X. It's the same box that pops up. So you can actually change both of those settings for the store and in the GiveBacks Point of Sale app at the same time. You can do inventory tracking. If you turn on inventory tracking when you're setting up your product, then you'll be prompted at the end of the setup for the inventory numbers, and the system is not going to let you sell more than what you say you have in stock. Then, of course, the price is the price you set. The ordered columns will start to populate as you sell items, and it'll give you a count of how many have been sold. And then the three dots allow you to edit the product, manage your inventory, which means you can go in and change your inventory at any time. You can duplicate the product, which comes in handy, especially if you're doing something like spirit wear. And in this case, I created a short sleeve t-shirt and I've got it all set up the way I want. And now I want to sell a long sleeve t-shirt, and the whole product's going to be the same except for maybe just a couple of things I want to change. So I would duplicate my product and then just go in and change those few items. You can copy a QR code. If someone uses the QR code, it's going to take them directly to that specific product in your store for them to purchase. And there is an option to delete the product, but I would use that very cautiously. If you've sold any items, any of that particular item, I would recommend not deleting the product just so you don't lose that history. Instead, I would just turn it off and hide it. But if you need to delete it, you can. All right, let's talk about actually creating a new product. To do that, you click the new product button, and then you just start filling in the fields. So I'm going to sell a blue t-shirt. And for the description, you can put whatever you want. In the long description, you've got lots of room. You can even format the description. Things that I would suggest is anything important about the product, like maybe it runs small, so you want people to get the right size. Also, I would put delivery information in there. How are they going to get it? Are you going to send it home with the kid? Do they have to come to the office and pick it up? Or is there a certain place that they'll pick it up? Then you enter the price. I'm going to sell my t-shirt for $10. There is a box here that you can check to allow shoppers to enter a custom price. I would recommend only using that for an open donation type product. I am going to click it here. You wouldn't enter a price. You would click the allow shopper to enter a custom price. And if you want to put a minimum, you can do that if you want. But since I'm selling a t-shirt, I want to make sure I get my $10, so I'm not going to use that box. If you've created categories, then they're going to show here. So my t-shirt should go in the spirit wear category. Then going on to the next section. The next section is additional fields. Your options are to add color selections, to add size selections, and to add some custom options. And then I'll talk about the last selection in just a second. So I don't need colors because it's a blue t-shirt, but if you did, then you would just choose the colors that you want. The easiest way to do that is just click on the three dots next to the the colors you do not need and click remove. And this goes pretty quickly. If there's a color that's not listed, then use this field options. So maybe you might have a camo shirt or a striped shirt, so you could add those colors. Now I'm not going to do that because I don't need to do a color selection, but I do need to do size selections. I'm going to make this a required field because I have to know what size someone needs. And then works the same way with choosing the sizes. I'm only going to sell youth sizes in my blue t-shirt, so I need to remove all these other fields. So I'm just going to remove the adult sizes, and I want to actually sell a youth extra small. So I'm going to add that. So I typed in the option, click add, and it adds it to my list. Now I'd like these to be in order, so I want to move this extra small up to the top. So you just use these arrows, click and drag to the order that you want, and then click save. And you can see now that sizes are a field that's going to be added to my product. Now, if there is other information that you want to collect from your customer, then you can add a custom option or a custom field. You give your field a name, that's what you want them to enter, and you can choose the field type. It can be a text field where they're just free-forming the text. So if you're asking for, say, the student's name, then you would type student name and choose the text field. If you want to create a list where they can only choose in a drop down certain items, then use a select field. And then if you do select, it allows you to add each one of the choices. If you need people to be able to select more than one answer for that question, then use the multi-select. And then the other field I'll see most commonly is a checkbox. So I am going to add, all right, this is like a silly example, but I'm just going to say favorite. Yeah, I think I already did favorite color. All right, I'm just going to go with student last name. And I'm going to have that as a text field, and I'm going to make it required. Now, at this point, if I click save, then this information that the person's going to enter in this field is only going to be saved in this order, and you can only see the answer to this question in this order. If you want this information that the customer is filling out to become part of that customer's contact record in your contact database, then click this box that says Add Property to Contact. This means that this information will be available if you click on the individual's profile. If you are exporting a list of contacts, this field will become a column in that export. You're also able to filter on contact properties when you're looking at your contact list. So if I save that as a contact property, I now have that there. Now, if you create contact properties, you don't have to keep recreating that field. If you already have one, click on Add Contact Property, and you can choose from a list of contact properties that you've already created. So these are ones I've already created, and some of them are kind of duplicated, but you can maybe ask for the student's homeroom teacher, or are you interested in volunteering? So I'm just going to add that, are you interested in volunteering? I already had put in my choices for answers of yes, I'm happy to, or no, not at this time. So I'm going to save it. Next, I can choose whether or not to turn on inventory tracking. I'm going to do that. And it's not going to ask you right away for the inventory. You got to set up the entire product first. If you want your product to be available just for a set period of time, you can put a start and an end date. And then you can add an image. So I'm going to just click Add Image and go to my computer where I have this image of a blue shirt. Now I have this picture this way just to show you, you can do some cropping, but it's going to be fairly limited. The best size for your image, you'll see right here, is saying we recommend 600 wide by 400 high for the pixels, and that you might not want to do it bigger than that. You can, it's got to be a horizontal picture, and you can adjust the cropping a little bit. If you try to upload it and you can't get the whole image, you're going to need to resize the picture outside of Givebacks and then upload it. But I'm fine with it cutting the t-shirt off at this point, so I'm going to stick with it and just say save. All right, once I'm done setting up the product, I'm going to click save. And because I turned inventory tracking on, it's going to ask me for the inventory. And I sort of did this on purpose to show you a common problem that happens. So what we expect to see is for inventory sizes to only say youth large, but you see it's also combining that with my question of, are you interested in volunteering? So that's not going to work. So I'm going to go back to my list of products to blue t-shirt. I'm going to click the three dots and I'm going to edit the product. What is happening here is when you do inventory tracking, it's going to ask you for inventory for all the variants where you have a select or a drop down, and it's going to look at all those combinations. So here I have sizes as a drop down, and I have this question of, are you interested in volunteering? So that's not going to work. So what I would suggest doing, you can always undo this as a contact property, and then we're going to edit it again, and I'm going to change this field from a select to a multi-select and save it. And if you run into this product where you're getting variants that aren't the inventory variants that you want, it's probably because you have two fields that are select fields or drop down fields, and you need to change one of them to be a multi-select. All right, so I fixed that. I'm going to save it, and it's going to tell me about the inventory, and now I've got the inventory size. It's just for large. So right now it's saying the current inventory is 0. To make an adjustment, let's say I have 10 of every shirt. So I'm going to enter that I have 10, click adjust. Then I'm going to scroll down to my youth medium, 10, adjust. And you see that changes the current inventory. If you make a mistake, and let's say I type in 20, and I'm like, oh, I don't have 20, I only have 10. So come back to this box and make an adjustment. How much do you need to adjust it by? I need to take that down by 10. So I'm going to enter -10, click adjust, and it adjusts it down to 10. And for my final one, click adjust, and then I am done. And I can go back to my product list. We see my blue t-shirt, and it shows in the inventory I have 40 in stock across 4 variants. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. I got a few questions. Is there a way to add details like student grade to the sign up for membership? Yes, you will do it exactly the way we just looked at it, where you go into the additional fields and create a field for the grade level. Oh, yes, somebody's asking, can I tell you one more time how to hide a product? Absolutely. So let's do this open donation. If I want to hide it, I go to the Member Hub store column, I click on the check mark, and I uncheck the box that shows product in store. And if I want to hide that from the point of sale app, then I can do that at the same time. Click save, and it changes those to an X. And yes, this workshop is being recorded. You'll get an email later with a link to the recording. Okay, so you asked a question about memberships. It's a good time to point out that even though you're going to sell your memberships in your store alongside your other products, you have to set up your memberships in the membership section, or all of the reporting will not work properly throughout the system with memberships if you don't set them up in the membership section. So you would go to memberships, manage membership items, and this is the page where you set up your memberships and edit them here. All right. Your page probably won't have this many. I have a bunch of them on here for demo purposes. All right. As people purchase things in your store, you are going to be able to go to, I'm just switching to a different site real quick. You're going to be able to go to store management, review orders. And this page is going to show you a list of all the orders that have been placed and give you some high level information, the customer name, when it was purchased, and the fulfillment status. Now, the order ID is something you can click on. So if you want to see more information about an order, click on the order ID. It'll open it up and give you the information about the customer, their contact information, and exactly what they ordered. So in this case, it was a parent guardian membership, and you can see the information that they filled out in each field. Let's see if I can find another one that's an actual product. This is a site where we do, here we go. So this is just says test item, but I wanted to talk to you about that fulfillment column. If you want to, you can open up your orders and mark as fulfilled. And what that does is it just tells you, I've already given this product to the customer, so I have fulfilled this order. And again, it's optional if you want to do that, but when you come back to your list of orders, it'll be easy to glance at the fulfillment status and see which ones have been fulfilled and which ones have not. Membership items will automatically be marked as fulfilled because generally you don't have to do anything else with a membership after they've purchased it. The next thing that you're going to want to be able to do is see those funds that you've received being deposited into your organization's bank account. And so if you go to the store management section and you click on view payouts, then you're going to see a list of all the payouts to your organization. These are going to match with the deposits that you receive in your bank account. from here, you can do a couple of things. You can click on the payout ID, which will take you to a list of all the transactions that make up that deposit. So you can see every order that was placed that makes up that deposit. And there are a bunch of columns here. You have to scroll over to see the other ones, but it'll tell you who the customer was, what they purchased, how much they paid. There's a link to the order, and you can get all that here. Now, your treasurer will likely either want to click this export button, or if we go back to the list of the payouts, there's a download link for every payout. Your treasurer will probably want to download that, and they'll see all the columns. They can sort or filter by product or by category to help them in matching up the revenue that came into your line items on your budget. Now, let's talk about how you set up a Stripe account. In order to sell anything in your store, you need a Stripe account. And Stripe is the vendor that Givebacks uses to process all the credit card transactions when somebody buys something in your store. When you set up your Stripe account, one of the things that you're going to do is link your organization's bank account to your Stripe account. And then every Friday, Stripe is going to automatically deposit any funds that you've received from purchases in that prior week directly into your bank account. And that's what those payouts are. If you haven't set up your Stripe account, you're going to want to go to Store Management, go to Edit Store Settings, and the first section of the settings is all about your Stripe account. If you've never set up a Stripe account, you're going to see this big blue button that says Set Up Your Stripe Account Now. You'll click that button, you'll be taken over to Stripe, where Stripe will walk you through a setup wizard to get your account set up. If you already have a Stripe account, when you go to Store Management, Edit Store Settings, you're going to see this box. And if you need to access your Stripe account, you would click where it says View Express Dashboard. You'll be prompted for a verification code, and it'll take you into your Stripe account dashboard. The main reason you would need to go in there would be if you change your bank account and you need to go change the bank account information in your Stripe account. If you need to set up your Stripe account, it's helpful to have all the information you need before you start. You will need your organization's EIN, you'll need the bank account information, you'll need the legal name of your organization that the IRS has on record with your EIN, and whoever is setting up the Stripe account will be prompted for some personal contact information, including the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. This information is just between you and Stripe. We do not have access to your personal information. They are not going to run a credit check. They just need to verify that you're a real person. It's part of the law where financial institutions have to know their customer, so they're just verifying that you're a real person. When you leave your role, you'll want to go into your Stripe account and transfer ownership to the next officer. At that time, your information comes out, the new officer's information goes in. There's a detailed help article in our help center that has the steps on how to transfer ownership of your Stripe account. Now, if you want to purchase a Stripe credit card reader to do in-person sales, you can do that from your Stripe settings. I'll go back and show you where that is in just a second. If you're using a Stripe reader, it's going to link directly to your Giveback store items. And so you can sell anything that you have set up in your store, you can sell in person. That includes memberships. If you sell the memberships, all that membership data is going to feed into your give back site. If you're selling products with the inventory tracking on, it's all going to connect with your store. Now, if you want, you can use a quick pay feature where you don't have to enter all the customer's contact information. You can just charge a dollar amount and move on to the next person. To use the Stripe credit card reader, you are going to need to download the GiveBacks point of sale app. You'll use that app, you'll pair the device, and like I said earlier, you'll be able to see all your products and be able to manage the purchases right there on your phone. Now, the GiveBacks point of sale app is only available in iOS, so you've got to make sure that you have admins who have iPhones in order to use the Stripe credit card reader. To actually order the reader, got to go to this site. Once your Stripe account is set up, you go into store management, edit store settings, and underneath this box about your account, there's a link right here to order a Stripe reader. They are $67. Some states do charge tax, so it might be a little bit more on top of that just for the tax. And you can purchase it with a credit card, and they come within about a week. So they do come really quickly. While we're in store settings, let's talk about a few more of the settings. One is the processing fees. Everything purchased in the store does have a transaction fee. The amount is 3.95% plus 59 cents per transaction. This is a combination of the Stripe credit card processing fee and the GiveBacks platform fee. Your site by default will be set up to pass that fee on to the payer, but if you want to change that, just open up that section and you can change your setting to cover the processing fees as an organization for your payers. So you can change that at any point. You can also customize the receipt. So if you want to customize a receipt and put your own message on there, thanking people for their purchase, you can do that. That option also gives you the option to display your organization's tax ID number. You can also set up store coupons if you want to do that based on either a dollar amount off or a percentage off. Keep in mind, whoever gets hold of that coupon code can use it. So just be careful with those, and percent off coupons do apply to the entire cart, not just an item. And then if you want to change the theme of your store, you can change the color of the toolbar in your store, and you can add your organization's logo to your store. And then notifications. There are two types of notifications. One is called an order notification, and one is called the contact us notification. The order notification is totally optional. It's just there if you want to set it up where someone gets a notification, like one of your admins gets a notification each time a new purchase is made in the store. The other one is the contact us notification. In your store, I'm going to flip back over to my store. On the toolbar, there is a link that says contact store admin. If your customer clicks on that, this is a way they can get in touch with one of your officers to ask a question. I usually see questions like, when am I getting my order? I ordered the wrong size. I accidentally ordered 2 and only meant to order 1. Can you refund me? Questions like that. So going back over to the notifications setting, you need to choose at least one person to receive those contact us notifications. If you do not pick anybody to receive that notification, then the notification will go to every admin that you have listed in your site as an admin. So if you don't want all your admins to get those messages, choose at least one person to receive those, and you can choose more than one. To add a person for a notification, click the Add Notification button, put in their email address, and choose which type of notification they want. If you need them to receive both, you just need to go through the steps twice. And then I want to take a moment to talk about admin roles. Those are now done under the settings under admin roles. It's a great time of year to check your admins to see if they're up to date. If you see people on here that don't need to be admins anymore, just click on their name. A box will pop up and you can click delete, and that will remove them as an admin. If you need to add an admin, click on the new admin button, enter the person's name and email, and then choose the permissions. You can give them full admin access, which is to all of the tools in the site, or you can customize that admin access. If you customize it, you can choose from these different tools as to whether they have access at all. And if you choose for them to have access, you can choose whether it's view access or edit access. There is an article in our help articles that talks about what people can do with view and edit access for each of these. All right, before we shift gears to the website builder, I'm going to check on some of the questions here. So someone was asking about memberships. Memberships are not to be set up under store management, manage products. They need to be set up under memberships, manage membership items. Somebody said, can we archive products in the store management? For example, tickets sold in 2022 and 2023, can we archive, not view them? Your choices are to just turn them off, which will make them go down to the bottom of the list, or to delete them. Those are your two choices. I would recommend just turning them off. They'll settle down to the bottom of the list. Is there a way to preview the merchandise built without making it live? No, there isn't. My suggestion would be get it set up, make it live, check it real quick, and then you can turn it back off if you need to. If charging an extra charge for something like a 3XL shirt, do you have to create another merchandise item, or is there a way to charge based on size selection? There is not a way to set up variable pricing of any sort in a product. So if you need an item, like in your example for a 3XL shirt to be a different price, you will need to set that up as a separate product. Great questions. All right, let's shift gears and talk about the website builder. So if you don't have a website or you're paying for a website somewhere else, you might want to consider using the website builder through Givebacks. To use that, you're going to go to the website builder section and click on Manage Website. The very first time you'll have a Get Started button, and once you click on that, then you will be given your first page, which is a home page in the landing page format. As you can see, your home page, the path is just a slash, and that's really important. And I'm going to talk about how you create the path name, but for your home page, make sure it's only a slash and it doesn't have any characters after it. So the landing page layout is the default for your home page, but you're welcome to choose a different layout for your home page. You would have to just create a new page and make that your home page. You can click on the three dots next to any page to view that web page, edit the visibility, edit the web page itself, or duplicate the page. I'm going to start we're going to add a page first. We're going to click Add Page. You would give your page a name, and I'm just going to call it Monday Test. And here's the path. If this was going to be my home page, I would leave it as just the slash, but I'm just going to call it Monday. You can make your path anything you want. What I tend to do, if I'm doing a page that I call events, then I make the path /events. If I'm making a page for volunteers, then I just make the path /volunteers. You can put any characters there. I just find it easier to do that myself, just to make it easy. Then you get to choose the layout that you want for this particular page. Givebacks gives you some layout templates to make it a little bit easier for you. You can use these template pages. They're fairly simple, but it'll help you get a website up and running really quickly. The landing page was the one we talked about. I'm going to show you a sample in a minute. With that one, it gives you a place for a picture and then some text boxes. The content page is going to be almost all text boxes. The events page is going to pull 3 months worth of events from your Givebacks calendar. You do have to make sure you mark those events in the calendar as public events in order for them to show up on this page. And then the officers page is going to pull a list of officers from the page where you created your officers, which is over here under your compliance settings. You can choose to put a starting and end date on a particular page if you want to, and this is where you're going to mark the individual page as live when you're ready to make it live. And so I'm going to click save. Oop, I can't do that because I didn't choose a layout. The other option for a layout, if you don't want to use one of these templates and you want to have more flexibility on developing your page, then you're going to choose the custom page editor. So I'm actually going to choose that, and we're going to go in and talk about how you use the custom page editor. Before we do that, let's take a look at a couple of examples of websites. This website is using the template layout pages. This is what the landing page template will look like. You will add a picture here at the top, kind of like a banner. Your picture is going to need to be very long horizontally. I believe it's like 1200 by 300 is the sizing for this image. And then there are text boxes up here where you put the name of your organization. And then these are all text boxes where you can add your text. You can't do a lot with this page, but I like to show it because it shows you can have a really nice looking page. It can look nice and crisp, easy to read, even using these layout templates. Now, as you build your pages in your website, they are going to show up as links in this menu bar. So this menu bar gets built automatically as you're adding pages in your design. You can have up to 6 pages that show up on the menu bar, plus you get a link to your store. And if you're using product fundraisers in your store, then there'll automatically be a link to those. So it's 6 pages plus the store and product fundraisers. Now, if you want to have more flexibility on how you design your page and you use the custom page editor, this is an example of what you can do. This page was designed by this organization. They've got this image up here, and then they switched to a 2-column format. Gives them a lot of flexibility on adding images, changing the text, adding buttons, adding images that are actually clickable. And that's one example. Let me jump to one of their other pages. This one is also a custom page. In fact, I think all of theirs are custom pages. So they, instead of using the events template page, they created their own events page with the custom page editor. So let's talk about how you actually design a custom page. So someone asked a question, it appears the home page, landing page has to be the default page. It is not customizable. It does not have to be your home page. If you want to change your home page from the landing page, click on the 3 dots edit your visibility, give the path a name so that it's no longer your home page. And you'll get this message, but that's okay. You're going to go back and fix it. And let's say that this page that I created that's called Monday Test, I want that to be my home page. Now I'm going to click on the 3 dots for that one, choose Edit Visibility, and I'm going to make that path only the slash, and I'm going to save it. Now, you can call it whatever you want. I could go back in and call this one my home page. I just happen to call it test. So that's how you would go about changing which one is your home page. Now let's talk about how to use the custom page editor. I'm going to click the 3 dots next to that my Monday test page, and we're going to edit the web page. When you start, it's going to give you your first block to start designing. So this whole left section, the big section of your page, is the area where you're designing your page. There are 2 other sections. One is the section in the middle, and this what's here depends on what you choose in this far right side. You've got content. These are the different elements you can add. You can add headers or text boxes or images or buttons, a divider, menu, so forth. You also can design your page with different types of blocks. So you would choose this first one if you wanted 1 column. You choose this one if you want 2 columns, but you want them to be equal. Or you could choose a 2-column block where the left side was more narrow than the right. I recommend starting here in the block section. Let me just point out what the other ones are. Body is where you format your whole site as a whole. For example, you see this box right here, it's not very wide and it's not taking up the whole page. If you want to make your page wider, then you would come into body and change the content width. And as I change this number up, watch how that block starts filling up the page. So you can make that adjustment there. Images is just going to give you a bunch of stock images. So my recommendation is to think about how you want to design the page and start with your block. So I'm going to leave the single block at the top, that's 1 column block, but for the rest, the next section of my site, I want this 2-column format where the column on the left is more narrow. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to drag it and drop it. Now you can keep building your website, your web page with additional blocks, or you can, like if the rest of my page is going to be 2 columns, then I'm just going to keep adding elements in here and not add any new blocks. All up to you. Once you've set up the blocks, then you need to tell the site what you want to put in those blocks. Anytime this section of your screen doesn't look like what you want, just click the X and it'll take you back. What I want to do now is go to content, and I'm going to start deciding what I'm going to put in each block. So I want a header at the top. So I'm going to click on this header element. I'm going to drag it to my 1 column block and I'm going to drop it there. And then on my 2 column section, I want to put an image right here. And I'm going to put a menu on the right hand side. And you know what? I think I'm going to come back in and I actually want some text above that picture. So I'm going to drag a text box there. So then once you have decided on the elements, go back and start formatting. So I'm going to start with my heading. Did you notice that this section changed? It's to format your heading. So you can just highlight it, and type. And I'm just going to say, welcome to our school is going to be my header. And I can come over here to the formatting. I can change the font size. I can change the alignment. I can change and make it bold. And I can change the color. I'm going to make it, we'll make it orange. Now for my second block, I said I wanted text. So I'm just going to put some gibberish in here. For example, you just type whatever text you want. You can change the formatting. I said I wanted an image here, so I'm going to click there And did you notice how this section changes to be all about formatting that image? You can click on upload an image, or you can choose one of the stock photos. I'm going to just choose a stock photo to make it simple. I'm going to take these kids on a computer and I'm going to drag and drop it, or I could have just clicked on it and it would have placed that image there. Now I want to go and build this menu. When I click on menu, now everything in this section relates to building that menu list. So I'm going to start with my item. So I'm going to give that item a name, and I'm just going to type option 1. You might type volunteer or events or whatever it is that you want people to click on. So I'm going to label it option 1, and you need to then put the URL of where you want people to be sent when they click where it says option 1. Now, if you want to add something else, just click the add new button and you add another item. I'm going to be real original and just type option 2, and then you would put in a URL. And I'm going to make at least 3 items in my menu, and I'll stop there. Now, if you're like, well, that's great, but I really would rather those items in my menu be one below the other. Not a problem. This is where all the formatting's done for your menu. And you can choose the layout to be horizontal or vertical. You can change the color of the text and the formatting and so forth. You can have them left justified, you can have them in the center, whatever you want. And you would keep building your page. Now, if you wanted other things in here, you could either add elements, add more elements and drop them wherever you want them, or you could go back to adding a new block. Let's say you wanted to finish your page with a single column block. Just go back to blocks, drag it, and you can format it. Now, I promise you that doing all of this will eventually end up with pages that look like these. You've just got to think through how you want to set it up and then start building. All right. Don't forget to save your page. You also can preview your page by clicking the preview icon, and you can choose to preview it on how it looks on a desktop or how it looks mobile. I think I have too much open on my screen and it's not letting me choose that, but I promise that usually does work. There we go. I knew I could get it to work. So that's what the preview would be. You could see what it looks on desktop, tablet, phone. If you exit the preview, you can, in your design, you can choose to see how it looks on a phone or how it looks on desktop. All right, and you can edit it from either one of these. All right, so questions. Somebody's saying, I think this went with a question of, it appears the home page, that the landing page has to be the default, and then saying, but then the drop down links at the top won't appear. Oh, okay. And you said, never mind. All right, so you figured that out. Okay, great. Oh, I love this comment. Somebody said, mind blown, this is cool. Well, great. I'm glad that you like it. All right, so let's wrap up here. I'm happy to stay on and answer any questions that you have after this, but if you need to go, I certainly understand. Just your next step, make sure your Stripe account's set up so that you can sell things in your store. Get those products set up, get your membership set up in the membership section, and you'll be ready to go. Remember that we have fundraising tools. If you want to learn more about the fundraising tools or the Shop to Give program, please feel free to book a fundraising meeting with that team. They're happy to talk about our products, talk about what your plans are for fundraising, and they'll even help you set up your fundraiser through givebacks. There are other workshops, so feel free to sign up for those. And If you need to contact our support team for any reason, please don't hesitate. You can go to support.givebacks.com, which is what this QR code is for. It will take you to our interactive help center where you can see help articles, our video library, which is short videos on how to do different things, sign up for the workshops, book um, a fundraising meeting. And if you just have a very specific question or you're running into a problem, there's a place where you can submit a support request, and our team is in our support queue throughout the day answering questions. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you need help. If you need to go, thank you for joining us. I do see a few more questions, so I'm going to stay on and answer questions until we get through those, and let me know if you need anything else. The question is, are we limited to 6 pages only on the website builder? You are not limited to 6 pages. However, only the first 6 pages that you have live will show up in the menu bar. I did forget to mention, once you have your pages ready, you've got to make sure you go in to click the 3 dots, edit visibility, and turn each individual page on. And then this button, let me make it inactive so you can see what it looks like. After you make each page live, click the Make Live button, click that, and it will go live. The first 6 pages will be the ones that are on your menu bar. You can create additional pages if you want. You'll just have to provide a link somewhere on one of your pages to get to those additional pages. Can you share an example or two of some PTAs who are doing this well? So that was one example. Let me pull up a couple of more. Oh, that was the same one I just showed you guys. Sorry about that. All right, here's another one that's using the custom page editor. I will point out this one created an additional menu down here. And this is where I was talking about if you need to create more than 6 pages, you just need to create a menu or a link or a button where people can get to those other pages. And then here's another one, and you'll notice that these all look very different. So you really can design your page however you want. And let's see what some of their other pages are. This one, they did their own page to show their officers, and they did their own page for events. And this would be clickable. Let's see, did I have one more? Oh, I must have clicked on that link. All right. All right. So you will receive a link to this recording, but also on the page where you register for workshops, there is a previously recorded workshop that doesn't have all the other, questions and so forth, that would be a great place for other people to go and view the workshop. If you need something specific from this presentation, just reach out to our support team and we'll help you. Let's see. Thank you very much. This was very helpful. You're welcome. If we want to use a more robust contact management system for the website portion, not the store, is there one you would recommend? I don't have one. I haven't built any other websites other than through Givebacks, but you don't have to use the website builder. It's just there as a free tool for you. All right. Any other questions? All right, great. Thank you guys so much for joining us and let us know if we can help you with anything. Y'all have a great day.